Check 1, 2. Check.
Oh, check. So, I finally watched the Tom Green documentary.
Oh, yeah.
I know you've been patiently awaiting my input.
Oh, thank you. One note.
We can talk about that today.
Okay. One note. You might hear, the good listener might hear a little humming in the background.
Yeah, can you hear me over this beast?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just to explain that away.
Yeah.
Usually you want no sound in the background, clean audio, right? You know, if we were professional.
Maybe it's just going to be like white noise.
Could be what? They're going to put you to sleep?
Eh?
It's going to put you to sleep?
Well, no, but it'll be unnoticeable to the listener.
Oh,
eventually.
maybe. Well, I can hear it in the headphones.
I can hear it.
Yeah, well, you don't have the headphones. It's a little heater for the basement
cave
studio. Exactly.
My
it's a little
toes
cool
are
down
still
here.
cold.
Are they?
Yeah.
You want my slippers?
I thought heat fell.
No, heat rises.
Oh, he rises. Okay.
You want my slippers?
I'm good.
Aren't you the scientist?
Yeah, I was seeing if you were going to catch that.
Oh, you're testing my
Yeah.
knowledge of science.
I was thinking I could shove him under Winston here.
Oh, yeah.
Under his little sleeping pad.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
what
what
you
else?
hear the heater. When it gets to the desired temperature, I'll shut it off.
That's pretty toasty.
Yeah.
What else you got for today's show?
My usual.
Nothing.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to talk about.
You mentioned
I've got my ant problem.
Yeah, the ants, but you mentioned a good topic, a lighter topic than the two I had.
Yeah, which was
elections and tariffs.
Those are lighter.
They're almost related in many ways.
We don't talk much politics, but I think maybe this deserves
we might
a little
today.
bit.
We don't talk much politics. It's been a core.
No, on the show.
Oh, I think we've talked a lot of politics over the years,
really?
haven't we?
Not really. I think we tend to stay away from that.
I don't know. I think we talk politics all the time. I think that's even in the description to the show.
You put politics in there?
Yeah.
When I explain to people as a guest, maybe that's why they don't want to come on.
Well, when we get guests on, we're apolitical for sure.
Maybe that's
we don't.
Maybe they want to talk
into
politics when they come on.
Well, maybe we'll see. You got some bunch of whack of future guests lined up. Maybe
Well,
they'll
I'm
talk
trying.
politics. Eh?
I'm trying, but nobody's.
Yeah, you're not very successful.
I haven't been very successful because nobody's getting back to me.
They're all interested, but no one's hammered out a date yet.
Exactly. That's the problem.
Sportsnet game coverage decisions. That's something that's been pissing you off a while.
Yes.
We should definitely talk about that.
Yeah.
Because it makes no sense. Well, how they choose to.
I don't understand.
Yeah, and we'll get into that with the good listener once we start the show. But if you're a hockey fan and
if you're a Sens fan,
or even a Sens fan specifically, well, I bet you it works that way too for the other small cities.
I don't think so.
Like if you're in Winnipeg.
Maybe,
you don't have cable and have
maybe.
friggin' City TV or whatever the Winnipeg game's on, you're stuck watching the Leafs or the Habs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
Yeah. It's hard for me to criticize that.
Yeah. I also wanted to look at the standings today. I forgot.
I believe the Leafs won last night.
Okay.
I was watching the game.
Did the Florida Panthers win?
Yes.
I wonder. Oh, so we're all 1, 2, 3 still.
Still the same.
Maybe we're
it looked good there
increasing the gap though between the ones below us.
It looked good there for 7 seconds into the Chicago-Florida game when the Blackhawks scored 7 seconds to make it 1-0.
Nice.
But then it was all downhill from there.
All downhill after that.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, DDT. So we got 3-4 major things to talk about. I also have a pick finally. Kind of a fun little series I binged.
Nice.
Right through it. Boom, boom.
Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Warning. This podcast will be an injurious waste of your time. Warning. This podcast will be an injurious waste of your time.
Yeah, good morning. I'll take a medium with 2 sugar and a medium regular, please.
Good morning, DDT.
Duff.
How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
I'm good. I appreciate your effort to bring the temperature up down here in the basement cave.
Yeah, it's a little cool down here this morning. I
well,
think it was minus 22 outside.
Yeah, well, I had to break the ice off Winston's water bowl here this morning, and he's good to go now. It's melting, and we're warming up.
He's
We'll
all
check
snuggled.
the temperature here in 1 sec.
He's all snuggled in his bed.
Yeah. No, we're +4 in here now.
Okay, that's good.
It's warming up.
Yeah. I got my slippers on, as mentioned.
Yeah. Money doesn't matter, eh? You got this thing just sucking that electricity. Hey, to warm us up.
I don't know how much that draws, actually.
Oh,
I think it's energy efficient.
Well, the lights are flickering half the time. I think
It's green.
Oh, that's hot, man.
Yeah, I've got it on high right now.
I think
just to get it quickly up.
I think that'll cost you. Do we still have time zone pricing in this province for electricity? I think
good question about
Once
that.
again, you laugh. Money doesn't matter. You have no idea.
Well, money doesn't matter to me.
Just
apparently.
crank the lights, crank the heat,
crank the pool heater,
flush the toilet constantly. That's our biggest, most surprising bill lately.
Is your water?
Is the water.
It's
You're using
ridiculous.
a lot of it.
Well, you got 4. You got the 2 kids at home now.
We got the one kid at home now.
Oh yeah, right.
The daughter's off at school, but
well, no, that would have been.
But I'm baffled at this. We're talking,
It's got a leak somewhere.
I don't think so. I just think we use a ridiculous amount of water. I don't even shower at home half the time. I shower at the gym.
Right.
So
yeah,
I guess there's a couple showers every day and washing the dishes and a lot of toilet flushes. I think we're over $100 a month on water. Like, is that reasonable?
So you're paying $200 every 2 weeks,
something
2
like
months.
that. Yeah.
Wow, that's
over 200.
I don't know. I have to look at my budget to see. I think we're about 170.
Okay. See, we're
every
higher
2
than
months.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. See, we're higher than.
And
you.
that's with my number 3 or number 2 son, number 3 child, taking half an hour. Like I go in the bathroom after he has a shower. It's like a freaking sauna in there.
I thought you were gonna say, and that's with my 3 number 3s. My number 2, 3 of them.
What?
You're number 2. What's a number 2?
Number 2 son. Oh, number 2.
You do a number 2, but you do it 3 times a day. Oh,
that's mostly at work. Yeah.
I guess that's a cost-saving hack right there. If you can do all your bowel movements outside the home, then you save 2-3 flushes a day.
Exactly.
I wonder what the cost. Whoa, you in a rush to get out of this topic?
No.
I was just going to say, I wonder what the cost of a flush is.
Well, how many liters is your toilet?
Good question. Yeah. Standard toilet, they're all the same.
Is it like a 4-liter toilet?
They're all the same, aren't they?
No, I think they have different.
4 liter?
Yeah.
4 liter.
It fills up.
I'm picturing 4 liters right now. 4 cartons of milk. No, it's bigger than that.
Yeah, so maybe.
If I were to pour 4 cartons of milk in my toilet, I don't think it would barely move.
It's possible.
Anyways, yeah.
But my point, I was just going to say, it seems for me on the weekend, it's once.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You do love this topic. I figured you would.
And then
wasn't even on the list, but okay.
During the week, I get into the office, start off with a nice number 2.
Oh, okay.
As soon as I get there, yeah.
Wow.
I'm usually a bit early, so I can go.
Okay.
Or it's after the meeting. I'll go and do it. And then
I hope you can concentrate on the meeting.
Yeah,
because
fine.
Sounds like if you go right after the meeting, there must be a portion of
there's a little bit
non-engagement mentally.
Well, there's a little bit of like, can we get this meeting over?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So that's not
Sometimes,
fair. It's not fair to the employer.
No.
Especially if you're like, if the gaseous phase preludes the actual event. Sometimes that happens.
It does, yeah.
So I hope you're not letting those in a meeting.
No, I'm in an open office. Like, it's hard to.
Okay.
I don't want my colleague to get a whiff of that stuff, right?
No. Well, it would distract everyone.
So you kind of hold it in. You get a little crampy.
Okay.
But then that's the number 1.
Yeah.
Of number 2.
Yeah.
And then usually later on in the day, it's maybe around noonish.
Okay.
And then 3-ish.
Well, this is new for you because you used to go dazed, didn't you?
No.
Yeah. You talked about this on the show before, too.
What's that?
How infrequent your bowel movements were.
That was usually on the weekends, yeah.
Oh, okay, on the weekends.
Yeah, for some reason. Like your
right now.
Your
schedule was off, your movement patterns.
If I'm a bit off now this morning.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 reasons.
Because it's the weekend.
So right now I'm like holding back the BM.
When you get up in the morning on a work day, do you have a coffee right away?
No.
Okay, because that could act as a lubricant.
Oh, really?
Definitely. Could help get it going. But you don't do that, eh?
I don't do that. But if I'm distracted during the show, it's because I'm holding back.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's
I might
good.
have to go and take a break, and you can go and
I don't think that's good.
Talk it for a couple minutes.
Well, maybe I'd get on to what would I talk about?
Let's talk about...
I couldn't do Tom Green. I'd have to do either the Duff's pick and tariffs or the elections or a combination of
we were talking about just one note on the bathroom issue.
Yeah, and then maybe we'll move on.
So in the last month...
Yeah.
I don't know if the good listener, if people... I always think when I have an issue...
Yeah, that everyone else does too?
No, that no one else
just
does.
you.
Yeah, it's like... it's, I got this problem, now I got to pay money to fix it, or I got to work on it to solve.
How come I never hear other people with this problem?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do people think that as well? Do other people think that?
I guess it depends on the problem. What's your latest example of that?
Well, the latest example is, for some unknown reason, I've got ants.
The ants
showing up in my bathroom, my ensuite bathroom. Not the small little ants. I'm talking the black, larger ones.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, where did these...
My first thought when you mentioned that was we're having a surprisingly cold winter compared to recent years. And it just got me thinking, would these ants normally be nice and cozy outside somewhere, and the frost lines dropping, or they're just getting frozen out of their home and they're migrating into the DDT cave?
I think that's
that's
probably what's happening, because it's unexplainable. Like, talk about unexplained events.
Or does an ant get in here via some sort of food purchase, like plants, veggies, whatever, and then they multiply once they're in here?
That would explain if they were in my kitchen.
The kitchen, right?
But they're in my ensuite bathroom. So I'm not really sure.
Maybe somebody's snacking in the ensuite bathroom.
Well, my wife leaves her empty coffee cup up there. Would that do it? Do they like coffee?
Well, maybe they get attracted somehow to the sugar and the sweetness of the coffee.
Yeah.
And away you go.
So now she's all over me.
That's so strange, though. That's upstairs, too.
It is. It is, yeah. She's not even sleeping in our bed. She didn't last night.
She's blaming it on the ants.
I don't want to sleep in there. The ants.
Oh, my God.
What? Okay.
Well, you're probably not. There's two ways you can look at this now, then. You probably had a good night's sleep.
I slept on the couch. I ended up falling asleep on the couch all night.
So neither of you slept in the bed last night?
No.
That is very odd.
I had a couple of drinks.
Oh, okay.
Shall we say? And,
on a Saturday night?
Yeah,
all by yourself?
All by myself.
Well, you better get that bourbon into you before Tuesday.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do about the ant situation? I guess I got to go buy some.
I thought that was the perfect transition into
it was, but I wasn't finished talking about it.
Well, I was thinking if you want, I was just assuming, like if you get this giant room and bed yourself, you get a great night's sleep.
True.
So maybe you just let the ants figure themselves out.
Yeah.
And the longer you've got the odd ant, the longer you have a nice bedroom to yourself.
That's true.
That's kind of how I see that. Yeah.
Although I like the heat when I get into the bed.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
A little warmed up first.
Yeah, it's warmed up already.
I see what you mean. Well, then you'd have to deal with the ants.
I have to kick her out after.
You have to deal with the ants.
Maybe when I get into bed, I'll be nice and cozy, and then I'll say,
By the way, the ants are still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she'll just get up and leave.
Or scream it like you were saying. Yeah.
Ant!
What is that I feel crawl? Oh, it's another ant.
So, yeah, I mean, do I get
the trials and tribulations of DDT in the bedroom.
I'm going to have to go buy some ant traps, I guess.
Yeah.
Or do I call a pest control?
There you go. There's another $200 then, right?
Because I noticed some mice, too.
Well, we had a mice issue a while ago. And, again, I think it's the same sort of reasoning. I think they get into the house in the winter of all times because God knows they're getting froze out of somewhere.
Yeah.
And they keep coming.
Yes.
So but at least we saw where they were. And our cat is useless. I thought they were a mouse. I thought cats like mice.
Some do.
What the heck? This cat has not killed a mouse in its life.
Some are lazy. Yeah.
I think it gets scared of even the fake mice when we're playing with her. But anyways, so we found a spot where they were because of the disgusting They're little poo pellets that look like the friggin' stuff on that white cake that we used to eat as kids all the time. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, the
those
sprinkles.
Little McCain's. So just like
sprinkles.
that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever sprinkle the mustard on a cake to trick people?
Oh, yeah, sure.
No, eh?
Did you?
No, I just thought it seemed like a DDT Tom Green sort of thing.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you imagine you could get sick.
Well, pretty small.
They must
I
have
imagine
some type of
eating poo.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably, No, so I never did that. I thought about it, but no, I never did that. So you find that we put a trap.
Yeah. What kind of trap?
A little mouse trap.
No, but like one that actually.
Oh, for sure. Well,
the snap one,
what other kinds are there?
Well, you can buy which I did.
A live trap,
and then I release them.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I did
for
that.
Mice?
It was $25 for the trap. Okay, it worked great. First few times I caught.
And then
the
where
mouse.
do you release the mice? Just
I
outside and they come back in?
No, I went over to Huntsman Park.
Huh.
And released them in the park.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Okay. No, you should be just culling them on at the site.
Well, so what you do with that trap is you put your bait inside. Yeah. So I use peanut butter.
Yeah, that's what I use. Yeah. I use peanut butter.
So they would come in, but then they couldn't get back out, right? That's the way the trap works. Except
that's so weird.
It doesn't work anymore.
I can't believe you did that.
All the peanut butter's gone, and there's no mice in there.
Yeah, so that happens with the other traps too.
Yeah. So now I went back to the snap
Well, that's
traps.
the only way to do it. Come on.
I caught 2 in one night.
Yeah. So we were one
this past week.
We were literally one a night for about 6 nights.
Yeah. And then they stopped.
And then
got them all.
Yeah. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Right? And we'll just continue to do that. Sadly, they are getting in somewhere, and my wife keeps on me about that.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure that out, too.
So do you spend the time and effort to go do all that, or you just kind of deal with it as it happens?
Well, yesterday I went out and bought some foam.
Yeah.
You know,
spray foam?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I put it in my ensuite bathroom, trying to figure out if they're coming through that little gap.
Yeah. Oh, you did that just for the
for the mice, because I'm finding the mice in my kitchen behind my stove.
Okay. Where do you buy the foam?
I just went to Home Hardware.
Okay.
You can buy it anywhere.
Shout out to your local home hardware dealer.
Exactly.
Proudly owned.
And
Canadian.
So will you be shopping there?
Something to think about.
Will you be shopping there?
Yes, sir. Even though the foam you bought was probably from
America.
Illinois.
Well,
maybe not. It was probably from China. That's the other thing. We're all like, I swear to God, when we get to this topic, like,
I was just trying to transition to it.
Well, look, I don't know where we want to go first, but I'm thinking of products we buy in Canada.
Cut you off on your transition earlier.
No, that's fine. Yeah, the bourbon. We'll come back to that. But products, I'm just defeating my purpose here.
Oh, okay.
Products made in the United States and purchased in Canada, I don't think it's like it used to be.
It's mostly food, I think.
I don't even know.
I'm not even sure about that.
I keep saying, like, people are going on about fruits and veggies and that. Like, veggies, forget it. Like, we grow the majority of our own veggies in this country now, thank God. Fruits, sure, some from the States, but we also get fruits from other places, mainly friggin' Mexico, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm not 100% sure how much stuff we buy in Canada is from the States anymore, because everything is from where?
Yeah.
Say
Mexico.
It. China.
Yeah.
Everything's from China. So what am I missing on this?
Well, I saw a meme on X saying buy Canadian, and they had, I think it was 4 orange juice bottles.
Right.
One was apparently made in Canada. The other 3 were
made in
the U.S. From the U.S.
Synthetic oranges.
Well, then somebody pointed out, where do you get the oranges from?
Yeah, there's not a lot of oranges grown in Canada.
It's like,
yeah.
Probably
so I get
Florida.
That. Yeah, but that is one of the products for sure. If you're an orange juice fan, like we get our oranges, I would assume, from Florida. But, limes, lemons, avocados, raspberries, for heaven's sakes, Mexico. Like, these are things that we buy. And
I bought some avocados last night.
Yeah, and I've glanced lately to just curious where they're from, and none of them are from the States, these things I buy.
Yeah.
I just realized I really like the nuts, the mixed nuts from Costco.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably an American product, I'm guessing. So I
like
need to.
What kind of nuts though?
They're called mixed nuts. So in it you got almonds.
Okay, so do you think
cashews?
I've never heard of the U.S. being a big
nut producing country.
Exactly.
Yeah. Outside of politics.
Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's not. I don't know where the nuts come from.
I would think they come from more South America.
More south of that. Okay. Well, there you go. Then,
Central
then
America.
I wouldn't even have to worry there. Then I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look at the bottle.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably they probably import the nuts here.
Yeah.
We import a lot of nuts in this country,
and then we create the mix here. And create all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. But obviously, and this goes back to the failed but wonderfully attempted transition earlier. Your bourbon.
Sorry, I'm just
the bourbon. And that's it's funny. That's the one item that keeps making the news. They keep talking about bourbon.
How much bourbon do people drink
in Canada? I don't know, but that's the
Apparently
one thing.
A lot. And I drink it.
But here's the other thing. Like the friggin' premiers, one minute they're all on board. They're all going to do the same thing. They're all over the place now. Like there's talk about just straight up tariffing things like bourbon and American wines and whatever.
Well,
American beer.
Ford has said that they're going to pull all American products, all American alcohol products off the shelves of the LCBO.
And you know what? Why not? Like, and then replace everything with Canadian products.
But you can't make Canadian bourbon.
You cannot make Canadian bourbon.
Bourbon
you can
is
make
only
Canadian
made in
whiskey, though.
You can make Canadian whiskey.
Yeah, like I mean, give people like.
And I had some Perth whiskey given to me by my esteemed son-in-law.
There you go. Yeah.
65% alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah. Now
good whiskey.
Now I realize, like, sometimes we think, well, what can we do? Or what big of an impact? That is the one thing that actually is a big deal. Apparently, the largest single buyer of alcohol in the world is the LCBO.
Oh, really?
Because it's a huge government-run
conglomerate
entity, monopoly basically, up until recently.
Yeah.
But imagine, that's like, it's what, 12, 14 million people buy their alcohol generally in this jurisdiction through the LCBO.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So
I think that would hit American producers hard if we just said, well, we're not buying it until this gets sorted out. That would hurt.
That might hurt, for sure. Yeah. That's good point.
And in the meantime, you're drinking something else.
I'm drinking whiskey.
Or you're stocking up. Because I think you still have time.
I go today and buy, because my bottle of Woodford Reserve is getting a little low, shall I say.
I thought you were a Maker's Mark man.
I will drink any bourbon given to me.
Given to you. But when you're buying it, what would you buy?
I would buy...
whatever's cheapest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it can get quite pricey. No, I mean, I have a favorite. I just, you know what? I
thought it was Maker's Mark.
No.
Oh. Something Reserve you just said.
Yeah, it's Woodford Reserve, which I was given.
Now, ounce per ounce, is bourbon more expensive than whiskey? Canadian whiskey?
No, I think they're
comparable
all around the same prices.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What is Jack Daniel's? Tennessee whiskey?
That's Tennessee whiskey, yeah.
And bourbon is only out of Kentucky.
Made out of Kentucky.
But it's essentially whiskey.
It is, yeah.
It's a whiskey.
It's a whiskey.
So the only thing that defines it as a bourbon is where it's made.
In Kentucky. For it to be called a bourbon, it has to be made in Kentucky.
In Kentucky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I'm hearing that that's... I read somewhere...
An evolving definition.
An evolving thing, because Tennessee, as you mentioned...
Yeah.
There were some... Yeah. But Jack Daniel's definitely
Well, maybe it's
Tennessee
more the
whiskey.
Recipe than after all. Like, maybe it's not just the location, no?
Well, I think it's the way the barrels...
The way it's made.
And the way they make it and stuff, too, is a little bit different. But it's
Kentucky
basically...
crafted.
Yeah.
It's somewhere else.
Kentucky whiskey. They call it bourbon.
Yeah.
So, I mean... like... I'm not such a connoisseur of it that I can tell the total difference between a whiskey and a bourbon, but
you can't tell the actual longitude, latitude of the factory where it was made just by taste.
No. I'm not that much of a connoisseur.
Could you tell if I blindfolded you and put some Crown Royal, some Jack Daniel's, and some Maker's Mark, each in a shot glass? You think you could tell the difference?
I could probably tell you which one the Maker's Mark is.
Okay.
But it's like the old Coke and Pepsi challenge.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Actually, you could tell.
I think it would be easier, though,
there is a
than
difference
Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah.
Like, I think I could tell the difference of Crown Royal and something else. Anything. Yeah. Just because I think I know what Crown Royal tastes like. But I don't think I could tell the difference between any of your bourbons. No way.
No.
I don't know if I've ever drank any of them, to be honest.
No.
Yeah.
I think
I had a shot of yours once.
Slight taste difference between a whiskey and a bourbon.
Yeah.
They all have that like burning.
Yeah.
You take a sip, you get a little burn. And Scotch too. I mean, that's Scotch is kind of a. Yeah. But there is a taste. I'm not a big Scotch fan, to be honest.
And Scotch is just whiskey from Scotland.
Yeah, I can tell the difference.
Like Jameson's
or Glenfiddich.
Where's Jameson's Irish?
Good
Might
question.
be Irish. Yeah. Might be Irish. Irish.
Glenfiddich is definitely Scottish.
Glenfiddich.
Now I've had that. It's very good, but I'm not a big Scotch fan.
Okay.
I can definitely tell the difference between a Scotch and a whiskey.
Well, maybe this is your opportunity to experiment and widen your taste horizons.
Perhaps, eh?
Yeah. Money doesn't matter.
Well, you know what? I went out the other night. My buddy there, Al.
Yeah.
He said, "Come and meet me for a drink,
nice.
A beer." At the new place over at the Holiday Inn, though, in.
You should have took him to Chuck's Roadhouse.
Should have, but his daughter.
I would like to get some feedback on that place.
Well, his daughter works at the new restaurant that replaced Graffiti's at the Holiday Inn.
Okay, cool.
In Centrum.
What's that like?
It was good, expensive.
Okay.
It's now more of a French rather than an Italian. But the menu was...
for that reason, I'm out.
Unless
it's like Saint-Hubert. That's French.
No. That's Quebec French.
No. You're even sounding French.
No.
Saint-Hubert is
French.
No?
No, Saint-Hubert is French, but I'm saying like it's not...
Just so the listener knows, I'm not like anti-French restaurants. I love... Saint-Hubert is one of my favorite restaurants.
But that's Quebec.
Very Quebecois.
Yes, exactly.
Very
I'm talking like this is like French.
Yeah.
Haute cuisine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not my thing.
You got a little of foie. How do you pronounce that?
So you actually dabbled in the food too, then, or just
just a couple of apps.
Okay.
But I had a beer.
Yeah.
A lager.
Yeah.
Was it 1642? Is that the brand? Remember it?
You had a Kronenberg.
Was it Kronenberg? Yeah. I think it was a nice
That's
Kronenberg
not a
lager.
French beer.
No. $11. Of course, there was no tax on it.
Do I have a story for you to compare?
There was no tax.
Just to go back to our favorite.
Yeah. For a pint, I guess.
No, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, let me counter that. I was out. Actually, one of the listeners was out at this event the other night. Our favorite spot, the Brew Table.
Yes.
You're not gonna believe what.
No.
2 pints of a good beer, Landshark Lager.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's American. Might have to not do that.
Boycott that.
Well, they're not going to have it on the happy hour menu, that's for sure, for $5 a pint. I just gave away half my answer. And I had a Nashville hot chicken sandwich with fries.
You had a whole American meal.
This was pretty American, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think the chicken came from the States, though. Probably not. Anyways, you know what this meal cost me?
No.
2 pints and a Nashville hot chicken and plenty of food.
Yeah.
Take a guess.
You just gave away $5, so that's $10 right there. Plus, I would say 20 something for I'd say $35.
$24.
24.
I couldn't believe it. I gave probably one of the most generous percentage-wise tips I've ever given, because the server was actually really helpful in encouraging us to stick to the happy hour menu from 2 to 5.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. I kind of wanted to have one of my Broadhead blueberries, but, that's an $8 pint.
Yeah.
Went for a couple of Landshark lagers, $5 each, and the Nashville hot chicken sandwich, man, $14. It was $24, and as you already mentioned, no taxes still for whatever unknown reason the government's delaying that.
Yeah.
$24. Unreal.
What would be the regular cost of the Nashville chicken if it wasn't happy hour.
So it's not on the regular menu.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
But a burger and fries is around 20 to $22.
Yeah.
And your average pint of beer is $8. So that's a significant. Eh?
What time did you go there?
Around 4 o'clock.
Oh, you were early.
Well, that's the happy hour, dude.
Oh yeah. But I'm
5.
saying really early. Well, 2 and 5. Okay. I don't
know if it's really early.
Okay. Oh, I thought happy hour is more like 5
to... The whole world doesn't
5
work.
to 8 or 5 to 7. Or...
No, I would say that's dinner time. So they probably...
So they want
I think the whole rationale behind a happy hour is to boost the consumerism at a quieter time.
Right.
So at 5, it's over. Like, then it's dinner time and whatever.
You're paying full pop.
Yeah, full pop. Yeah. Anyways, that's another Duff's recommendation, man. We keep going back to that brew table. What a fine establishment.
Oh, yeah. They need to sponsor this show, I think.
Well, the cost was unreal. We should do a show in there. Wouldn't that be fun? I'm sure we've talked about that before.
We have.
Let us in, even in the morning. Let us in if they're not open. We'll do a show. Hey? They must have to clean and do work in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. We can do it with the vacuums all around us.
Anyways, yeah.
We don't care about sound.
Not at all.
Sounds, eh?
No, clearly not.
No, because we used to do it at Scotty's, like from time to time.
That
we still do.
Background. That was good background.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we could still go back.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you're talking about we're kind of all around the tariff issues, the little trade war that we're lining up to be. They
might as well just spit it out right now.
I'll make one point here, which is kind of funny. So Trump is like, Canada needs to become the 51st state. Yeah. But then Canada responds with, no, we're going to join the EU instead.
I wish.
It's like, wait a second here.
Like grade 3 children, I wish we would not reply to stupid things.
I wouldn't mind becoming the 51st state.
I know you wouldn't mind, but that's very self-serving.
At least for the next year.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's all... So, but you raise a good point. Everything's financial. Yeah. Everything's financial.
Well, listen, here's the thing.
There's a lot of hypocrites out there, too, that, can't, like, they have this, this ghost-like patriotism, I'd call it.
Yes.
But
a good point.
If someone came right up to them and said, oh, by the way, if you were, quote-unquote, the 51st state all of a sudden, you'd be making 50% more money.
Yeah.
You
wouldn't have to pay the exchange rate to take your vacation in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh.
A lot of hypocrites that way.
Okay, so you don't want to become the 51st state, so you want to pay 68 cents on the dollar, U.S. dollar. You're talking about a country with 40 million people compared to our 40 million.
I know. I'm not going to...
10 times plus greater economy.
Yeah.
One of the most creative... look at their television industry.
You're preaching to the choir with me.
Look at their television industry. We're going to talk about Tom Green.
Webovision. There you go.
Yeah. We're talking about an industry that we have to protect here in Canada because we watch American shows.
Yeah.
We watch American movies. We listen to American music.
I know.
We're basically America light up here, whether we like to say that or not.
Yeah, it's an illusion a lot of the time. It's an illusion, and I hate the hoity-toity, holier than thou,
exactly.
We're somehow and then they turn around and they're vacationing in Florida.
Exactly.
I'm not. At least I'm
going
not
to buy a house in Florida.
Yeah, I'm not going to be hypocritical about it. I
or
love
Arizona.
the States. I travel there all the time. I'm not anti-American whatsoever.
No.
Right. And I even know a bunch of people, over the years who have actively sought the process to get an American citizenship.
Oh, I have a buddy of mine, a really good buddy from growing up.
Sure.
The first chance he got,
gone.
Tom
Moved
Green. Well, Tom's one of them.
Yeah.
But okay, two buddies.
Yeah.
This is one of my best friends from childhood.
Okay.
He was working for a tech company here in Ottawa.
Sure.
That tech company got bought out by IBM, which is an American company.
International Business Machines.
That's been around forever. He had the opportunity, and he's always been looking for it, to move down to the States.
Yeah.
He moved to Atlanta. They transferred him down to Atlanta.
I know this
guy.
guy.
I told you.
Yeah, great.
You know who it is.
Yeah, I like it.
And, he's making big money. He's got a big house. Yeah. He's got a couple cars.
I get it.
go after the Joneses because there's a lot of people that don't have that.
Your point is well taken. He's part of the brain drain. Like, we have lost thousands, if not millions, of people to the States for more opportunities. And we're a wonderful country. It's just a damn shame we couldn't have kept those people. Yeah. But to cut kind of to the point here, it's like Trump will say his rhetoric and his taunting, this, that, and the other. Yeah. There's nothing wrong, in my humble opinion, to integrate the economies more. Yeah. Integrate the definitely economies to start with, you know? Yeah. Then there's aspects of military and defense, and then there's social policies and all this other stuff, you know, whatever. The biggest thing, again, and this is what a lot of the lefties did not see coming in the last election in the States, right? Yeah. Yes. People vote with their pocketbook. Well, yes. People held their noses against all the other stupid policies that they thought, he'll never get in because of that. He'll never get in. And Kamala Harris, she represents us like
joy. It's like, all joy.
And that's not
You don't
wrong.
Vote on joy.
No, you don't vote on joy. And sadly, you know, people said, how could a woman ever vote for Trump? How could Latinos ever vote? How could blacks ever? You pick every single minority out there. Yeah. How could they ever vote for Trump? They voted for Trump because they're running out of money.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And you couldn't convince anyone before the election that would happen. And it happened.
It did. And whether you think Trump will actually make the economy better or will it get worse under him.
It's almost a side point.
It's a side point. It's irrelevant because if they think that Trump will,
perception is the new reality.
And he did the good job the first time around, and he has done a good job this time around of saying, I'm going to make the economy better. No. I'm going to bring jobs back to America. It's America first policy. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. People bought into that because their wallets are hurting.
Your wallets. And you can't, I can't fault the guy, believe it or not, for this approach. It worked for him. And we just need smarter people around this guy to really make sure things are going to be okay for people. And I'll start by just saying, like all this trade stuff and everything, like the tariffs and this and that. So the question is, how do you make Trump feel like he won and he did all this magic? Yeah. And he stopped the border.
You got to appeal to his narcissism.
Yeah.
His ego.
Probably the way you do that is, he applies these tariffs. We give it a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden he has some magical data in front of him that says, we've stopped the fentanyl.
Exactly.
He stopped it somehow.
He'll say,
which may or may not.
He won't say we. He say I.
I stopped. Yeah. Yeah. I have stopped the fentanyl problem, and I have decided to get rid of the tariffs.
Exactly.
The tariffs are gone. Canada.
Appeal to his ego.
We're getting rid of the tariffs because you did what I said you needed to do.
Exactly. So here's the interesting. Okay, so let me put an asterisk or whatever on this by saying, I think you and I are in agreement that we both think that Trump is crazy in a certain way. I think a lot of the stuff
it's hard.
He says stupid shit a lot of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
but then
I
just said though, he's genius in a way too, though, to get where he is. Yeah. With all this stuff.
I was just going to say there seems to be a method to his madness.
Yeah, I can't explain it. Yeah. I don't like him.
No.
But you got to respect the fact he somehow got to this position again.
Exactly. So let's put it all in perspective. So I since all this happening, I've been reading a lot of stuff. Yeah. And I think you got to take yourself outside of the box that we live in to get a different perspective on things.
I call it the bubble.
Or the bubble box, whatever you want to call it.
Bubble.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't feel safe going outside of the bubble if it goes against their core beliefs.
100%.
So if they hate Trump...
Yeah, they can't even keep an open mind on anything.
Exactly. And Trump says, well, there's fentanyl or drugs pouring into our country from Canada. Yeah. They don't want to believe it because Trump said it.
Yeah, that's right.
Instead of,
it's probably totally wrong or whatever, but because he said it, we have to deal with it.
Well,
right?
here's the thing. Well, yes, exactly.
Yeah, like you have to get past your own bias.
But I was having a little bit of a debate with somebody.
Oh gosh.
And it was actually very civil. It was very nice.
Okay.
Like he didn't resort to calling me names. I didn't resort to calling. In fact, he's not even Canadian, he said. So I'm assuming that he's American.
Okay.
But the thing is this, right? He said that it was compared to the southern border with Mexico.
Yeah, no kidding.
There was it's like very little.
It doesn't hurt to be lumped in with that mess. Like, the fact that he didn't even differentiate the two.
Well, here's the thing. Like, if you look outside the bubble for a second and say, okay, yes, there's not as much drugs coming into the States from Canada as there is from Mexico. Yeah. That's obvious because you have the Mexican cartels.
All he needs to do is ask his own people.
Well, however, that doesn't mean that there's no drugs coming in.
Sure.
So, as you know, in the news recently, there was a bust out west of this drug labs or whatever.
Yeah.
And they captured what amounts to 95 million doses of fentanyl that was being shipped into the States.
Okay.
That's compared to Mexico, where you have maybe 100 million doses. Yeah. However, 95 million is not zero.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of Canadians think that because it's only 1%, then it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Well, the way that Trump is looking at it in his narcissistic way, he says, I protect the American people. I want zero drugs coming in from Canada and Mexico. So and if that's not happening, I'm going to put a 25% tariff on.
Sure.
So 95 million doses.
Yeah.
I think the latest figure was 19.5 kilograms in 2024 were imported into the U.S. from Canada. So you're which is just under 20,000 grams. Yeah. But when you put it in doses...
that could go in a backpack.
Well,
we're not talking trucks.
Well, when you put it in number of doses...
Yeah, I know, but it's like it literally could be once.
Yeah, but the thing about it is he wants zero.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're a Canadian and you stick your head in the sand and say, oh, well, it's really nothing...
Then that's...
wrong.
Counterproductive.
That's counterproductive, in my opinion.
I agree.
And the other thing is too, he kind of mentioned like.
So fortunately, I think many of us have reacted. Not us, but a lot of the Western premiers, for instance, they're on it, right? They said we're on it. They've created new forces. They've up security. Like they're basically doing everything he's asked. Yet he's still sticking us with that tariff. You know.
Well, the other thing that gets lost too, again, if you look outside of the bubble, is that he also complained about the number of suspected terrorists coming into the U.S. from Canada, which is more than double coming in from Mexico, even though there's millions more people coming through the southern border than there is the stuff. Yeah. So the latest figures, which I found, were there were 155 suspected terrorists coming in from Mexico.
Yeah.
That they caught, or
wow.
Canada was over 350.
Holy cow! Okay,
coming in from Canada.
Well, there you go.
Not to mention all the money laundering that's going on here in Canada. So I'm
having a tough time wrapping my head around.
Innocent in all
no,
this.
but I can't wrap my head around the logistics of that. Like since the dawn of time, weren't borders set up and monitored and defended by the country itself as people tried to get in.
But the problem is
does he basically want us to defend his border for him?
No, but here's where it stems from. Look back another step.
Yeah.
Okay. How many people have Canada imported in the last few years?
Then I'm fine with that. Yeah.
That's what he's getting at.
If he wants our borders protected to the outside
That's
world.
What he's getting at.
Yeah, so
because if you look at our immigration policies since 2015, they've gone away from the old Canadian model of applications. You gotta,
jobs.
You gotta be a professional. There was a certain where they've let in.
Yeah.
Let's just say they've gone away from that. So they're
don't
letting
the states do the same thing?
But what happens is
I don't get it.
No, they don't have that much immigration like that. But when you're letting,
sure? I would imagine the states let way more people in every year than we do. No.
Well, they do have if you're illegally,
or
but if you
whatever,
want legal ways, but so they're coming across and then they're going into the states from Canada illegally because it's almost an like you can't patrol every kilometer of that border.
On that, so I'll just leave.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's hard to say.
I've been reading about that.
Then.
Well, that's what
he believes.
Yeah. So I've read that, and those seem to be the facts of the matter. So
according to them, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, according to the reports I've read.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is not just the U.S. I mean, I've read CBC articles on this.
And well, again, then I mean, it's almost like if we attend to those concerns, we make our own country a better place too.
But here's the odd thing too, right? So he's put out there, he's floated that out, Governor Trudeau, and he said 51st state.
That's just irritating, that approach, right?
Well, that's Trump. Yeah. But people are saying, oh, we don't want to become, and then we don't want to become the 51st state or whatever they ends up being.
Yeah.
But let's become part of the EU.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a second here.
This is my point. Like, let's become more integrated.
What?
Economically with both, like,
well, I always said, what's wrong with an economic union between Canada and the U.S. where we adopt the U.S. dollar,
which I thought we already had, other than the dollar, with all these free trade agreements, which Trump was even part of negotiating.
Yeah, like, well, he's apparently reneged on some of that, but I don't know how long that deal.
Basically saying his own deal is not good.
Yeah,
his own deal is not good. Like,
but let's try to negotiate with him. Say, maybe we can. Maybe here's what we'll do.
Yeah,
let's integrate economically. Mm-hmm. We'll adopt the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, I'm not against that.
We'll apply more to defense spending.
Yeah.
To protect, North America.
Yeah, these are obvious common starting points to negotiate. It's too bad we can't get to that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of 25% tariffs as this big threat.
But no. It's like, well, no, we don't want to become American because we're Canadian. We're not American. That was the big thing, right?
Yeah.
That's always been the Canadian way. No, don't call me American. I'm Canadian.
Yeah.
But we don't want a union with our closest trading partner and ally.
Yeah.
We want a union with the EU.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I haven't heard much of that. You have? Really?
Yeah. That was an article the other day in one of
from somebody, but the majority of
CBC
Canadians
or something like that.
The majority of Canadians
was all over the news.
Would not see any sense in that.
I don't know. Somebody was like saying
somebody, but not. There's no way.
Well,
it doesn't even make practical sense.
I know.
So far. I mean, you can ship
Why would
and
we
fly
do that?
stuff, but we can literally drive across the border.
If our biggest trading partner and our closest ally and friend, quote unquote, is right there, we're part of the same continent.
Yeah, of course.
Let's have some type of union.
I think you'll see steps heading that way. Yeah, I don't see why not.
Let's open it up a bit more.
Yeah.
Like if you want to keep the kilometer and the metric system, fine.
You got to sell the benefits. You got to sell the benefits to everybody.
Well,
like Trump going on like with no, he's not selling it at all. Like he's just saying 50%.
He's not selling it, no. and the Canadian politicians are on the defensive.
Yeah. So it's a lose-lose.
Yeah, exactly.
But get people on both sides.
We need
of
somebody
that
smart
to educate and sell the ideas.
Well,
in a mutually beneficial way.
We need somebody here. Instead of saying, "Oh, we're Canadian, and nobody will take away our nationality. We're going to impose tariffs." Let's say, okay. We're part of North America. You're our closest trading partner.
You can keep the title of being Canadian forever.
Sure.
Like
has the EU, the Italians are still Italians.
Exactly. And the funny thing about the States is, unlike here, it's very different state to state. There's a lot of powers in the States.
Yeah. Well, that was the way their constitution
was
set up.
Like a Texan would consider themselves extremely different than a Californian.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's
in ideology.
So Canadian, Californian, Texan, like within that triangle right there, you could see a more integrated union, yet keeping a strong independence, right?
Well, the other thing is too, like the Trump could, he said, let's make Canada the 51st state, but it could also backfire on him because when you think about it, more Canadians would be likely to vote Democrat
of course,
than Republican. Yeah. So that could backfire
of course it would.
On him.
Yeah, if that's exactly how it would all play out, of course it would. Yeah. No, and I don't know if you know any history in how states were formed, but the
Constitution.
But states became states, and the goal was always to have similar sized areas and similar populations. It got a little wild as it went west, and when California said no, we're keeping what we have, and blah blah blah. So there's some discrepancies, but can you imagine Canada being a state? They like one entity.
No, that's what I'm saying.
We're just talking silliness.
You'd have to keep probably the provinces to become states. But
no, I think you would chunk it up.
Would you?
I think Ontario would be a state.
Yeah.
I think
the western provinces.
I think Quebec would probably begrudgingly be a state, and then the Maritimes would all be. They would not be province. They would be a state.
One state, yeah.
One state potentially.
And maybe Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta.
And then it gets tricky out there. Alberta could probably be its own state,
yeah.
but that would look weird if everything else was a state around it. So I don't know. Maybe Alberta, BC, and then everything else would be a state. Whatever. It's pointless to even talk about because I don't know if it would ever.
But anyway,
happen.
that's my opinion. Like we don't have smart people, I think, running our countries.
No, there's a lot of emotion right now.
Exactly. It's all big. And like I said, instead of thinking outside of the box, whatever.
Yeah.
By our politicians, they're going the rah Canadian, and we're gonna hit them back with tariffs, even though their economy is like dwarfs ours. So
no, I think what will happen too is there's a lot of, I don't even call it smart. I just think there's a lot of realistic people in the stateside that get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Governors, 100%. We're hearing governor after governor right now perplexed at this whole thing and how much they're gonna hurt. So I don't know. I'm quite curious in a few weeks where everybody stands.
We'll see what happens.
And if you get a bunch of, I always get it wrong down there, red and blue. The red states are the Republican states, right?
Yeah.
You get a bunch of red state governors like this lady in Maine saying, like, this is nuts. Like, we're hurting. Like, you get enough of those people hurting, he's got to backtrack.
He might have to.
And then he's going to look foolish. So by that
point,
he'll
double down.
By that point,
his ego.
Well, or double down, or by that point, he's got enough information, fictitious or otherwise, to say we've solved the fentanyl problem, and we're getting rid of the tariffs. It's
exactly. Yeah.
Anyways, I'm about tariff out here.
Again, my selfish interest is that I'm worried about the dollar.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Because now it's down to 68. When my daughter first started, it was 76.
It has went down. 76.
Yeah. Now it's 68. High 68, 68 point whatever.
Then it's $1.50 plus. It's more than $1.50 right now,
it's
probably.
$1.49 the last.
It was $1.49 the last time I exchanged.
I don't know what it is.
And I think it's went down since then, sadly.
I mean, if you look online, it's different. If you go U.S. to Canadian dollar, whatever.
Yeah.
It'll show you $1.49.
Yeah.
If you try to exchange the money
then
at your
go to the bank machine, it's more.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
Yeah.
Because I went online, I thought, I think it was $1.44 or $1.45.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's still reasonable.
Me too.
Then I go to the bank machine, it's $1.49. Yeah.
Well, I went and it was $1.46, but I transferred money back in.
Well, you're talking thousands. That's a big
December. But 14.5 was 21.5.
Oh, jeez, that's brutal. How's our timing? What are we at?
We're at 52. So we should move on from this discussion.
Or do we not? I don't want to do a disservice to one of our remaining topics. We can't cram it in 8 minutes.
Well, we're going to talk about Tom Green. Let's just hit on that quickly.
Quickly, and that's
it.
We can. Quickly, and that's it. We're aiming for
because it's fresh.
Yeah, we can do that. But
fresh,
we're aiming for a 1 hour show.
Yes.
And then we can come back to Mr. Green.
Let's set it up.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's preview it.
So I watched.
Yes.
The Tom Green documentary on Prime.
Yeah.
And
do people know who Tom Green is?
Well, do you want to tell us who Tom Green is?
Well, do you think for the most part?
I think our listener would know who Tom Green is. Yeah.
Listener,
and just my background is I was
the Pabinskis I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'll be. Well, they can look it up.
Look him up.
I can be honest when I say I was never a big Tom Green fan.
Yes.
Like I especially did not like the movies towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
I remember laughing at some of his stuff, and I laughed tremendously watching the doc on some of it because the reaction skits are hilarious. But I think he got away from that, and then it just got too stupid at times. But
some of it,
Like, I mean, the Slutmobile car. I'll just get right to that.
Okay, yeah.
Super hilarious.
Yeah.
So the guy painted his parents' car, and then his dad couldn't drive to work because it had this big Slutmobile on the front
Well,
of
he
it.
painted two.
Yeah, well, I forget the
two
image.
lesbians.
Oh, was it?
On the hood of his dad's car in
Okay.
a very sexual nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought, I wasn't looking that closely. I thought it was a guy and a girl. Anyways,
no,
it doesn't matter.
I believe it was two.
And it was like really like
it was
artistically
graphic.
painted.
Yeah.
Like it looked great, right? From that viewpoint.
Yeah,
like it looked, it wasn't just like graffiti. It was art.
No, it was art. It was,
and,
but graphic art.
Yeah, graphic
it was
art.
Very good.
But it was so funny, right? Like, and then his dad's pissed at him. Then his dad goes to the bus stop, and then he drives the car to the bus stop, and all these other people in suburban Ottawa, of all places, are laughing. I'm like, anyways, and then some of the walking around town with baguettes on his head and stuff like that is funny stuff.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that in the doc, and then it was heartfelt, and it was a lot of history there, and the reason we're talking about is because you were part of this. Right?
Yes.
Do you want to share what your role was?
Correct, I was.
And how things were way back in the day?
Yeah, so quickly I met Tom Green at broadcasting at Algonquin College back in 1993.
93.
The fall of 93. Tom so happened to be in my class at that time. Now you're talking about 60... Back then, there was only 60 students. They only accepted 60 students into the broadcasting program. Yeah, you're 30 years.
No, I'm trying to figure out where I was in 93.
Oh, okay.
I think I was starting university in 93.
Okay, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, I went back to school. I know I'm older than you, so I...
That would make sense.
Yeah, I went back to Algonquin for
around
television
93,
broadcast.
I was in university down south.
So I met him then. They only accepted 60 students into the program back in the day. So there was divided into two classes of 30. Tom happened to be in mine.
Nice.
And
the rest is history.
The rest is history, basically. We started the show at the end of our first year, which would have been
The Tom Green Show.
The Tom Green Show. Which
on local cable TV.
Yeah, it would have been on community television, Rogers Television 22 back in the day.
Nice.
And which still exists. So at the end of our first year, we're like, well, nobody's going to hire 3 first-year Algonquin broadcasting students over the summer for anything. So why don't we just start our own show? So I
love that. I love that, right?
Yeah, so I had the idea.
That's cool.
Because what happened was Tom did this radio show on CHUO, which is the University of Ottawa radio station.
Yeah.
And he did these little bits in which he used to play for myself and another guy, Trevor, who was a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
That partnered with us, and I thought those were funny as hell. Like he would just go, like it was just audio.
Yeah.
For the radio show, obviously.
Just clips, jokes.
Yeah. He would go, or he might call up a store, and then he would just he would just make it was funny.
Yeah.
And then one day, one of our teachers said, out of the blue, because of we used to do these assignments where we had to go and shoot something, and it was always Tom, Trevor, myself, and a couple of, and they were just ridiculous.
Yeah.
We would. Back in the day, Robert Bourassa, who was the premier of Quebec.
Oh, yeah.
He was on the cover of the Ottawa Sun newspaper back in the day. His face. And so we did this assignment where we did the dancing Bourassas. We put the cover of the Ottawa Sun on our face, and we were like dancing around, the three of us.
Oh,
and saying,
that's
funny. Where are the dancing Bourassas? Where are the dancing Bourassas?
Oh, my God.
And then another shoot where we went to the center point.
Yeah.
Where they had that little pond.
Yeah.
Which is still there today. And
the scuba?
No, it wasn't the scuba, but we had bought these lobsters.
Oh.
And we put them in the pond.
Wow.
And Tom would go into the pond with the lobsters. I'm going to catch a little lobster. Something like that. It was really stupid. And then we'd submit that as our project.
Wow.
For our electronic field production.
What sort of grades were you getting on that? See, the lobster one sounds dumb to me. I wouldn't like that.
I think we all graduated with honors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the prof was giving good marks for these shenanigans.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so with the prof out of the blue said, Tom, you need to have your own TV show one day. And then it clicked to me with those segments that he did for his
the radio,
how funny would they would be if it was actually on video.
Yeah.
So I approached Trevor. I said, Trevor, for your last end of the year project, we all had to pitch something. Trevor pitched a talk show hosted by Tom. But it didn't get chosen to be the final year project. So I said, Trev,
the man behind the man.
Yeah,
right
Trev, why?
Darcy to Tony, everybody.
What if we take this idea of yours, bring it to Tom, and then pitch it to a local television station? Because we're not going to get jobs. I mean, we might as well make work for ourselves.
Yeah, do
Trev's like, great. Right away, we went to Tom. Hey, Tom, what do you think about this? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Went to Trevor's basement, write up all these pitch proposals and stuff. Went to Rogers 22, dropped off a pineapple, a card, and the proposal. And then they called us.
A pineapple?
I think it was a pineapple. Yeah.
Interesting. Why a pineapple?
It's something to get their attention.
Yeah.
It worked.
To this day, you remember what the fruit was that
I
you
believe
left
it,
off.
and I don't know if it was American or not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I can't picture pineapple plantations in the USA.
No, you're right.
Seems more tropical.
You're right. Probably tropical. So anyway, so they called us and they're like, we want to meet with you guys.
Nice.
So we came in, met with the producer, the station manager, and the
of Rogers local
TV.
Community.
And they said, you guys are going into second year. How can you do this? Well, we got all summer. We're not doing anything.
Yeah.
We can shoot stuff in the summer.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, we'll give you 4 shows.
Wow, eh?
Yeah, 4 shows. Show us what you got, and
with
see
a
if you
studio
can do it.
as
with
well?
a studio. They gave us the studio.
Yeah.
We said, great. We want a live studio audience. They said, no problem. We'll make it happen.
Okay. Cool.
They gave us money for sets.
Yeah.
We built the set.
Sets that you later destroyed.
Well, Tom destroyed the desk a few times.
The desk.
Yeah. It got to the point where we destroyed so many desks that I went about bought a metal one. Yes, exactly. And but he was not happy about that because he wanted to destroy the desks. We got a little argument about the desk. Why'd you buy a metal desk?
Yeah.
I don't want you destroying the desks anymore. It was kind of a joke on my part.
Yeah,
like I didn't,
good.
I was
Just
like,
yeah.
So
and that's when he started nuzzling his way onto the camera all the time.
Yeah, probably, yeah. But that's how the show started. So it was like 3 of us, Tom, myself, and Trevor, and we would go out and shoot these ridiculous segments. And so we did the 4 shows.
Yeah.
And it got so popular.
Yeah.
Really, after the first show.
Yeah.
CBC Ottawa Television came and did a little segment on us.
The big times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, we're greenlighting the year.
Yeah. A pilot.
Well, we did 4 pilots, I guess.
For CBC.
No. That was later on. I'm talking about the Rogers show.
Oh, sure.
We did 4 pilots.
Yeah.
They greenlit for the season.
Yeah.
And so we ended up.
So how many shows would that have been for the season?
Well, it was every week. So I don't know. It went from September to June.
Wow. Okay.
Every Thursday night.
That would have been a lot of work, though. No.
Oh, it was a lot of work.
Content for a weekly show.
Yeah,
1 hour show.
And doing school at the same time. It was pretty busy times, but it was a lot of fun.
Wow.
And we I don't know, it kind of took off overnight.
No kidding, it did.
And we started packing the studio audience. People were lining up hours before the show to get in.
That'd be fun. You guys were local celebrities.
We were on, Ottawa Citizen would write about us, a big cover page on their arts and entertainment, 2 pages actually.
Yeah.
Other magazines here in Ottawa.
Did you do any other live stuff at the time? Were you invited places to talk?
Yeah, we went on radio.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, Mark Sutcliffe, the mayor, had us on his radio show at the time.
Okay.
Like I said, I went to school with Mark, so
quite the little world there coming out of that neighborhood.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun, but a lot of work, and So the doc is it's about Tom because everything was always about Tom.
Sure.
And so
pretty cool that you were included in the doc.
Yeah.
He albeit in a very small portion.
Well, I guess like my wife said, he needed to go through his life in an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes, whatever it was. So, I mean,
but he could have had a little bit more on the early days of the success and the growth of the show locally, and
there wasn't
you and Trevor's contributions and influence and ideas, and
for sure.
Might have skimmed over that a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know.
How does that make you feel?
That's a loaded question.
Oh, okay. Maybe we save it for next week.
Yeah, I think we should save it because
give yourself some time to conjure up a response.
Well, it's like how much time do you like if he's doing a doc, like I said, you're limited by time. You don't want the thing to be.
Don't start sticking up for him.
No, I'm not. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, like
you're pissed. I sense it.
Not really.
No. Okay.
But I talked to Trevor. I talked to Trev.
Yeah, Trevi.
And I think we should have him on the show.
And Buttlick.
Humplick. Glenn, yeah, I reached out to him last night too.
Glenn Buttlick. Buttlick?
Humplick,
sorry.
Buttlick.
Brent. I knew it was a
Glenn. Brent Buttlick.
That's the corner gas guy.
That is the corner gas
Brent
guy.
Buttlick.
His last I don't know if it's not the Buttlick. I don't think it's Buttlick.
Glenn Humplick.
Lick.
What a name. We got to get him on just for the name.
Yeah, so I'll ask Glenn too to come on the show. Okay. I don't know if we should have him on together or separately or.
That'd be a hell of a show. If they want to.
I mean, Trevor said he'd come on.
Nice.
I know he will.
They're both in town still?
Yeah.
Gainfully employed?
Yep.
Yeah. Transport Canada? They're on the tariff negotiating teams?
No.
What does Trevor do?
That's a good question. He works in some IT stuff.
Okay.
I think Glenn too, actually.
Okay, both in IT.
Yeah.
Are they part of any bands like you? How you joined a dad bod band?
Here's the interesting thing. If we have Glenn on, we can ask him about this.
Okay, actually. He's a bit of a musician as well. Like
yeah, for sure. Like he I believe, if my memory serves, is that he is very much into like EDM, electronic dance music.
No way.
Stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he back in the day.
Were they part of the rapping machine?
He was
Tom
not.
Green?
No.
Okay.
But back in the day,
that was a neat inclusion in the doc, I must say. I didn't know he was.
Yeah, he was part of the
rapper.
Organized Rhyme. Yeah,
Organized Rhyme.
Juno nominated.
Yeah, wow.
He came to.
I had no idea.
So the story on that was he was a Algonquin.
Right.
His kind of rap thing took off.
Yeah.
Left Algonquin, like he was in the TV broadcast. He left Algonquin
to pursue his musical
into
career.
this. To pursue that, as you said.
Yeah.
But then kind of didn't work out because, and then came back.
Because he wasn't a great rapper.
I believe he had a falling out with his partner that was in the documentary, Greg.
Okay.
Yeah. So
he was a good rapper. He got nominated for a Juno.
Yeah. So he came
back.
Did
he win the Juno or just nominated?
I'm not sure. It wasn't clear in the doc whether he won that or not.
I think if he won, it would have been more clear.
Yeah.
So he mustn't have won.
No.
Okay.
Then he came back to Algonquin.
Yeah.
For a second time. That's where I met him.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I mean, Glenn had this whole. He was doing records, making EDM music back in the day. I'm pretty sure but we can ask him if we can get him on the show. Then I can ask him.
I think those would be a couple of fun interviews, and you're right. Would it be better both at the same time, or do we spread it out?
Yeah, that's the question. Do we have them? Because I think they would have maybe different perspectives on the show, and I don't know if
it'd be an expensive bill for you at Scotty's for breakfast because we buy the breakfast for our guests.
We do, but maybe we don't this time because money.
Well, maybe we do.
I'm trying to have money matters
not
here.
We, maybe you do. Because I don't believe you bought breakfast for my guests.
That could very well be, yeah.
Oh, of course you didn't.
Yeah.
But if you bring guests on, you should buy them breakfast.
You're right.
I can see you already rearranging furniture in here so we can do it down here.
Well, I think Trev would come here. I'm not sure if
I think Trev deserves a breakfast, man.
Yeah. You're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you could ask for a special deal. Maybe you should book it before the taxes come back.
Yeah.
Eh?
Well, we could probably do it next weekend. I think Trev would be up for that. He's pretty available.
I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's figure that out.
Let's try to set it up for next weekend then.
Yeah.
All right, folks.
So that's a little preview
into the
TGS. Not the TDS.
Not the TDS.
The TGS.
TGS. Say something.
Oh, something?
Oh, something.
Yeah.
You didn't catch me imitating you. That's a sign the show is pretty much over, folks.
Well, I thought we ended it at the TGS.
Oh, yeah. You know what? You can go back. You can go back and chop it at a more appropriate time.
Oh.
Good show, man.
Yeah.
See, I'm not sure if we should have waited and did all Tom next week. Well, no. Actually, it's good if we do follow through with Trevor.
Yeah.
Then we've kind of set the table for that.
Exactly.
Okay.
We got to follow through.
I like it.
Yeah.